Johannes, in the couple of minutes he introduced me, he confused you guys, right? Because he said, on the one hand, he said Iran, and then he said some people know me in Germany, but then I'm living here. So who is this guy? Who's this guy? Most of you people are older than me. I don't have to teach you anything. But you all know that life is fascinating. And life is full of surprises. And life is full of ups and downs. And sometimes life is about survival. Let me start with the following. Israel, since October 7th, some people would say, is fighting for its survival. Some people would say, some people would claim, depending on which exact situation he or she is in. But since October 7th, 14 months ago, almost 14 months ago, Israel is in two realities. This country lives in two, if you want to, parallel realities. One reality is war, and the other reality is just regular life. Like you guys got, wherever you come from. And that's two realities. Sometimes, even very often, they are mixed. They're close to one another, just like my reality is. I have my war reality. I'm involved in this ongoing conflict. I will speak about it later. But on the other hand, I have my just normal life reality in Israel. You know, kids, wife, sometimes restaurants, sometimes there's some parties, sometimes you go to the beach, sometimes you just, take a nap in the afternoon. Just normal stuff, And why am I saying that? Because since almost 14 months, we're in this very, very hard situation. And everyone coming from wherever in the world, coming here to support, by being here, I want to say thank you. Thank you for coming. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your solidarity in these hard times. It makes me very, very happy to see that. And there's not too many people here coming from, there's not many flights, people are scared, and therefore I want to start with saying thank you. As I said before, life is full of surprises, lots of ups and downs, and survival. In my case, all my life has been some sort of survival training. Not because I wanted to, but because since a very young age, I was put into situations I did not choose, but where I felt that the world is sometimes still jungle. That we're living in the jungle. We're animals. And like in the jungle, you have these animals and those animals. If you don't know how to protect yourself, some other animals might want to eat you. It's very easy. As simple as that. And sometimes it doesn't even matter how you behave. It just depends what you are. Being Jewish is what you are. For many people on our planet, it sometimes doesn't matter how you behave. What matters is that you are Jewish. That's the game changer. Positive, negative. Usually, there is some sort of, emotion when you meet someone Jewish. When I grew up in Germany, my parents, who grew up in Iran, and they moved to Germany, where I was born. As a young kid, my parents did not teach me anything regarding Judaism. Nothing. Zero. I had a Persian name. My first name, still, how my mother and my father call me, is Shahruz. It's a Persian name. My family name, Shalicar. It's a Persian name. You would come and visit us back then in the 70s, 80s in Germany. We had Persian carpets, Persian food, Persian language, Persian music, Persian humor. And when you look at me, I guess, I'm not sure, but you tell me, would anyone outside this room, or let's say you would meet me in Germany or Italy or Paraguay or Russia, think that I'm Jewish? I guess not. And if you would meet me, would you think I'm German? I guess not. So who am I? And that was exactly the question I was asked when I was 13. You know, with 13, Jews, they have the bar mitzvah. I didn't have one because my parents are secular Jews, you know. They didn't teach me, as I said, Judaism. We didn't do any Jewish festivals. No holidays, no mezuzah, no Torah, no synagogue, no kosher, no Rosh Hashanah, nothing. But I knew that my parents, they are Jewish. I knew. When I was 13, I said for the first time that my parents are Jewish without knowing what it means. And I didn't say, I am Jewish, you know what I mean? I knew my parents are Jewish, but you know, it's like many Christians, right, who are Christian. They were born Christians, but they don't do anything about it except maybe Christmas tree. That's it. So the first time when I was 13, in the neighborhood of Berlin-Wedding, which is a Muslim-dominated neighborhood, when young Muslim kids, Turkish, Arabic, Kurdish, they looked like me, you know, black hair, dark eyes. When they asked me, who are you? Where are you from? And I said, I was born in Germany. Yeah, you know, but your parents? And I say, yeah, my parents are from Iran. Ah, so you're Muslim like us? I said, no, I'm not Muslim. What you mean? But you just said your parents are from Iran. I said, yes, but my parents, they're Jewish. When I was 13, I had absolutely no idea that my life, from this very point, when I first time said my parents are Jewish, that my life will turn upside down. Everything will change. A new life has begun. Survival training has begun. Because many of the youngsters on the streets of Berlin back then in the beginning of the 90s, they didn't want a Jew amongst them. Many of them, not all of them. Some of them, they liked me, they treated me well, they were my friends. Some of them are still friends with me. But unfortunately, reality is harsh. Many did not want to see me, how would they say, on our streets. They used to say, Jew, we don't want to see you on our streets. In German, they said, Jude, wir wollen dich nicht auf unseren Straßen sehen. You ask yourself, what's wrong with these people? I'm the same guy just like yesterday, you know. Just the same. Like, yes, nothing has changed. But for them, everything has changed. They don't look at you the same way. They don't kiss you the same way. They don't shake your hands no more. They don't want to play with you, no more basketball. And they stop talking to you. And in the worst case, they attack you. And that's what happened to me. That's what happened to me when I was 13, 14, 15, till the age of 23, 10 years. In Berlin, I was in a reality where I had to fight for my life. 50 years after the Holocaust, a young Jew who has nothing to do with Judaism, doesn't matter. You're a Jew, you know. But this time, the ones who are attacking you are different. It's not the regular German, like 50, 60, 80 years ago, speaking today, 2024. In my case, it was young people from the Middle East who migrated to Europe. And I know that you all know what I'm talking about, because landscape has changed in many areas in the West. There's new Germans, there's new Brits, there's new French. And they're not only Brits, German and French. Many of them are first and foremost Middle Easterners. Turks, Palestinians, Lebanese, Iraqi, Yemeni, Syrian, Afghan. And many of them have been indoctrinated since they were something like that, tall, with the milk of their mother and the beatings of their father. That the Jews are bad, the Jews are our enemy, and the Jewish state has to be destroyed. When I turned 23, I said to myself, it's about time that I leave Germany. That I look for a new home, a place where I can, as a Jew, live in freedom, in peace, openly as a Jew. It doesn't matter if I go to synagogue. Just let me live as a Jew without attacking me. So I was looking for a new home, and I found that new home. It's called Israel. I moved to Israel when I was 23 years old. That's almost 24 years ago. Ever since, I live here in this country. And what I figured out is that what I went through, what I just told you in a nutshell, as one little Jewish boy in the middle of hundreds and thousands of Muslims from the Middle East who sometimes are okay with you, sometimes they love you and treat you like a brother, but very often they want to fight, and if they can, to kill you. What I went through, that's exactly what Israel as a country is going through. That's how I perceive reality. It's micro and macro. Individual life and individual state life. In a state community, global community of 200 countries, with over 50 Muslim countries and about 25 Arab countries in the Middle East, I feel that Israel is me and I am Israel. So since October 7, and I believe that you all exactly know what happened on October 7, life has changed for me again, like for so many people here. But this time, I would say the following. Life has changed for many Jews. Many Jews who did not have that experience I had in the 90s in Berlin with radical anti-Semitism. Because most of the Jews were not grown up like I was. So for many Jews, 50, 60 years after the Holocaust, that Holocaust wound became smaller. It almost disappeared. It didn't play a central role no more in life. You know, time has passed. Jews remember, but try to look into the future. But October 7th opened this wound again. So the Holocaust wound was opened again for many Jews because you felt suddenly, after so many years, where you said to yourself, that's a long time ago. These things will never again happen. But then, on one day, not somewhere far away, here in Israel, something similar happened. When I say similar, I don't want to draw a parallel line to the Holocaust. Not in quality, not in quantity what happened. But for a couple of hours on October 7th, Jews, thousands of Jews were hunted, were massacred, were raped, were murdered in different ways. I've seen a lot of it because on October 7th, I was called by the army to be one of the 300 to 400,000 reservists who were called in to put on the uniform as an IDF spokesperson. So on October 8th, I have already been on the border to the Gaza Strip to see with my own eyes what happened. And what I saw, bodies. And what I smelled, I didn't even know what it is. It was the smell of death. Never in my life I had this thing in my nose. You see destruction. You see blood all over the place. You just can't believe that in 2023, 13 and a half months ago, people are able to do such a thing. You know why they were able? Because we are in the jungle still. And in the jungle, you have, unfortunately, these kind of people. Many places on earth, luckily, we don't have these sorts of people. But on October 7th, we felt these people breaching the border and murdering innocent people, old people, young people, women, men, kids, babies. In such a cruel matter, I think never in, I don't know to say never in history, but it's very hard to believe that in history there were many, many situations where people, women, children, babies were murdered, and the ones who did it were laughing. They were enjoying it. They were posting it on social media, some of the atrocities. They had a big day. And when I say they, we're speaking about almost 6,000 Palestinians who breached the border and came to Israel to do what they did. Many of them Hamas, but not all of them. Also just regular civilians. You know, what they used to say since October 8th, innocence. People in the world, when they speak about the Gaza Strip, usually they refer to them as innocents. Women, children. But on October 7th, it was 6,000 men, some women, some elderly, even some kids who breached the border and did what they did. Ever since, we are in war. Almost 14 months. And there are some people on earth who still don't want to understand that it's not a 1 against 1 or 1 against 2 situation. Israel is being attacked at least from 7 different regions, areas, organizations. Gaza Strip, Lebanon, Syria, Iraq, Yemen, Iran, twice already, as you know, besides everything else they do. That's 6. And then you have Judea and Samaria, as you all know. Anti-terror warfare going on every day and every night. That's 7. And you know what? We could even count Israel proper as 8. Why Israel proper? Because in the end, yesterday evening, you know what happened in the center of the country. And you know that every couple of days there's some terror attack happening in Israel. So Israel proper is also a region under fire, if you want to. That's 8 situations we are facing. 8 situations. And if you want to make it even more complicated, there's even more problematic situations we are facing since October 7th. Sometimes international media doesn't understand what's going on, to say it in friendly words. Sometimes the United Nations don't want to understand what's going on, to say it in friendly words. The International Criminal Court, you know, the South African accusations in Den Haag. That's another kind of war front. You have social media with a lot of hate. That's another situation we are facing. We have academy all over the place in the US, in Europe, where Jews and Israelis are sometimes being boycotted, sanctioned by university, academy, by stuff. And you have everything what's going on in the streets all over the world, starting from October 7th. They call themselves pro-Palestinian protesters. But if you ask me, they're nothing else than terror-supporting anti-Semites. Nothing else. Because the same people who are going out to raise their voice for the Palestinian people, so-called, where have they been? When people are being killed in Iraq or Yemen or Ukraine or Sudan or any other place on earth. So it cannot be in favor of something. It's first and foremost against something. And that against is Israel. Because Israel is the one Jew, that one Jew amongst 200 nation community on our planet. And I'm there where I started. In the end, it doesn't matter how you behave. It doesn't matter if you want a 2-state solution, 3-state solution, 200-state solution. It doesn't matter to them. You know what matters? That you are there. That you exist. That you breathe. That's what matters. That's what matters. I hope this is no news for anybody here in this room, because I know that you know what I'm just talking about. That's the reality we face. So the question is, what do we do? What do we do if you're in such a reality which is, in the end, all about survival? And in that ongoing survival training, if you want to, I personally see, as you all know, usually a glass is half full and half empty, just like this one. Sometimes we only see the problems. We see the half empty. We see the terror, the anti-Semitism. We see the war. We see blood. Just like the news they teach us every day. That's how they sell news. It's blood, 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 blood. But no, there's also positive aspects. There's also, hopefully, chances, situations which might develop in the next couple of weeks, months, where we all have to hope that things will turn to a better reality. And if we speak about a better reality, let us zoom in, let us dive in. Yes, we're fine with time. I want to leave some time for open discussion as well, for a question answer. That's why I'm looking at the watch, So if we dive into the situation, there is basically, at this point, looking at our border situation, there's three main situations which we are facing. One situation with the Palestinians. Palestinians, first and foremost, the Gaza Strip, Hamas. Second situation, Lebanon. And third situation, who want to help me? Has to do with my background, Iran. That's the three. I would concentrate on these three. That doesn't mean that Syria is of no concern. It is of concern. It doesn't mean that Egypt, Turkey, Jordan, Yemen, we have issues with all these countries around us. Some of them we're in peace with. There's things going on, but let's concentrate on these three. Speaking about the Gaza Strip, actually, it could be very easy. Starting on October 8th, Israel again and again and again and again and again said the following: surrender, surrender, and give us back our people. That's it. That's it. But they did not. They did not surrender. They continued shooting, and they did not give back all the hostages. In case you forgot, in November there was a hostage deal for Palestinian prisoners and terrorists. 6 days. On the 7th day in the morning, December 1st, 6:40 in the morning or so, Hamas again started shooting at Israel. So they breached again, just like they did on October 7th. They breached the ongoing, unfortunately, if you want to, deal. So since then, no deal. 1 year, no deal, nothing. There are still 101 people, not all of them Jewish, as you know, who were abducted from Israel to the Gaza Strip. 101, dozens of them still alive. That's what we believe, what we hope, and every day that passes counts. And then again we say the following: surrender, lay down your weapons, give us back the people. That's it. Why does it have to be so complicated? I mean, honestly, between us, people are suffering. People are suffering first and foremost in the Gaza Strip. I believe not everyone there is a big Hamas supporter. Yes, Hamas was elected in 2006. Yes, many of the people there are family members. You know, it's clan culture. So Hamas is all over the place, yes. But maybe after 13, 14 months, they've learned the lesson. They've learned the lesson. It's not worth to start war. It's just not worth. But while we are here together in this room, unfortunately, I don't see that Hamas, that the Palestinian leadership is doing any effort to ease the situation for their own people. Now, you can ask yourself, what kind of leadership is that? Do they care for their people? No. If it's up to them, let everyone die for the cause. What is the cause? You know, jihad, to be a martyr, kill Christians, Jews, homosexuals, whatever. That's their cause. They believe in that. Many on the other side of the border believe in that cause. And we are not there. We are simply not there. It's sometimes very hard for us, for you, for me, to even understand them, to try and walk into their heads and try to find some logic. Try to find some logic. It's not really doable. It's like someone speaking in Chinese and the other one answering in English. It's just not possible. It's like water and oil. Try to mix it. It doesn't work. That's how it is. So with the Gaza Strip, still we say exactly the same. This war could end right now. Surrender, give us back the people. That's it. When we look at Lebanon, now Lebanon is a very strange situation, I have to say, because first of all, Lebanon is in civil war since 50, 60 years. I guess you're all aware. There's a lot of different ethnic and religious sects, groups. They don't like each other. That's their thing. The border to Israel was relatively calm since last conflict, 2006. But with the end of last conflict, 2006, which is 18 years ago, there is something in this world called United Nations Security Council resolutions. Have you heard about it? Yeah. United Nations, sometimes they decide things, right? They have like papers. They print papers. They put numbers on it. They call it resolutions. There's 2 resolutions regarding Lebanon. One is 1559 and the other is 1701. These resolutions, they basically say no space for Hezbollah no more. Definitely not in the southern part of Lebanon. And definitely no rearmament. That's what these papers say. Some people, they put numbers on it, they printed them, they had meetings and all kind of, the whole world was happy. But then you find yourself on October 8th being under attack every day. And what does the world do? Basically nothing. It's like a non-issue. People are too busy watching civilian casualties in the Gaza Strip. So no one cares about Jewish casualties in the northern part of Israel. So Hezbollah keeps on firing rockets on Israel. You know when things have started to move and change? About 1.5 months ago, when Israel started to act. Oh, because suddenly the Jewish state is doing something about it. It's starting to attack. And now it's interesting. Now you can speak about casualties in Lebanon. Oh, the Jews are again murdering babies in Lebanon like they're doing in the Gaza Strip. Let's do everything possible to end this war in Lebanon. That's what senior politicians, even in the United States of America, said during the last 1-2 months. And in Europe, what they say is, let's end war in Gaza, let's end war in Lebanon. What about war in Israel? We have been attacked on October 7th from Gaza. We have been attacked from Lebanon on October 8th. What about putting an end to war in Israel? You won't find anything in your languages about that. Try and Google war in Israel. You won't find much. It's all about war on the other sides. The places we attack to protect ourselves. With Lebanon, it's pretty easy. As I said before, there's these papers. Just take care that whatever is written on these papers, 1701, that it's taken into consideration. That you take these words written on these papers seriously. And there's no Hezbollah presence no more in the south of Lebanon. No more threat. Once we will hopefully in the forthcoming future sign some sort of deal with Hezbollah or with the Lebanese state if you want to. Hezbollah is part of the Lebanese state. It's part of the political landscape as well. Hopefully in the next couple of days, weeks, we will have some news regarding this. And let's turn to my background, Iran. Now people always ask me, what's the problem of Iran with Israel, right? Some of you, have you ever asked yourself, what is their goddamn problem with Israel? There's no border issues. There's never been war between Iran and Israel. You know, under Shah Reza Pahlavi in the 70s, Israel and Iran were best friends. So what has changed? You know what has changed? 1979, there was an Islamic revolution in Iran. That's what has changed. And again, life has turned upside down because our friend Iran in the 70s has become our enemy starting from 79-80. As the head of the snake, as people in Israel like to refer to the Iranian mullah regime, to the leadership, not to the people, but to the leadership, Iran has become our main rival, our main problem in the region, and our main existential threat. Now you can ask yourself, okay, what are we going to do about it? What would you do? It's very hard. Because some people, now, while we're talking, they want quiet. They want peace. They want some sort of understanding with Iran. And the other people, the second half, they say, right now, we have an opportunity. Right now, we have an opportunity because that monster in Iran, maybe now it's the time to do something about it. Because if we don't, that already relatively big monster is gonna be a much bigger monster in the next 2, 3, 5, 10 years. And what then? What then? Maybe we won't be able to protect ourselves in 5 years, in 10 years. So speaking about the half full glass, we had some elections in the US. There's a new president now in the US. There's elections coming in Germany in February. Things change a little bit, maybe, hopefully. But there might be a chance. There might be a chance. A chance to sort things out. If not forever, at least for the next couple of years. Because as I said in the beginning, it doesn't matter how we behave. It doesn't matter if we want this or that solution. What they want is the final solution. And we are not ready to accept that. So we will continue to fight for our lives. Survival training will be a never-ending story for us, Jews. And whoever Jew who does not understand or accept our destiny, maybe has not understand what sort of jungle we live in. Thank you for listening. I wish you all the best. Thank you for being here. And I will be here for the ones who would like to have a short discussion.